When I came in here today, a lot of people were asking this question, how long you've been working for Expedia? So I thought it would be nice to share a little bit about my journey with Expedia for the past 10 years, as Aoife mentioned. So um, when I joined Expedia 10 years ago, we were actually in the office where TripAdvisor is today in Soho Square, and we had a very small team, very small localization team of 5 people. Um, we barely knew what we were doing. Um, Everything was very ad hoc. We knew that we're just scratching the surface of uh, what the company wanted to achieve in terms of becoming global. And it was a very different reality for Expedia because we only had uh, 2 main brands, right? So it was Hotels.com and Expedia. Um, and we were covering very few languages. So we had 5 languages for Expedia, and we had 8 languages for Hotels.com. It was a very different reality. But Dara, our former CEO, I'm sure you've been reading a lot of news about Dara these days in the news. He already had this dream of truly becoming a global company. And Dara, every year, he would always send an email, his first email of the year after Christmas and New Year's. And this year, when we all came back from holidays, his email title was Expedia Go Global, right? And for me, you know, who is the person responsible for the globalization, localization for the Expedia group, I got really, really excited because I believe that, you know, we are a truly global company, but getting the first email from Dara saying that we're going to go global was very exciting for us. And at the same time, it was very scary because we realized, okay, so they know we're here. You know, it's the year where we're going to have to make an impact. It's the year where we're going to have to be very good at executing our services. And it's the year where we're going to get the budget and the investment that we've always been asking for. We're going to get all the resources. So really exciting times for us. But as you know, it's not easy, right? If you really want to be global, it's not an easy journey to be there. And the reality is that Expedia is a very different company, right? If you look at where we were 10 years ago and where we are today, we're a very different organization. And I had the chance yesterday to spend the part of the day with our new CEO, so Mark Orkstrom, and we were discussing the strategy for the year. And he was trying to explain to us what is, from his perspective, what is to go global, right? For Expedia to go global is not having websites everywhere, right? It's really about being locally relevant at a global scale. Because if you look at Expedia, we are a global company, right? So we have over 200 sites across 75 countries, in 38 languages, and we localize over 200 million words every year, right? More than that. So with a company with this size, with so many brands, the level of complexity for us to really become global increased a lot over these 10 past years. Because first of all, as I said, we're no longer, you know, Hotels.com and Expedia. We're actually a family of very large brands. We are selling our services across different lines of business, different channels. And all these brands compete against each other, right? All these brands, they have their own brand identity. All these brands have their own tone of voice, right? So if you look at this portfolio of brands, they are very strong brands across the world, which means that from a localization perspective, from a content perspective, the challenges and the complexity is much higher if we are to serve all these different partners. So, you know, we know that our travelers, they're searching for different products, right? So it's cars, it's hotels, it's flights. We know that our travelers are also searching for our services using different devices. And also, one point that is very important for us from a globalization perspective is to understand who our travelers are, because I'm Brazilian, right? And for me, the perfect holiday is to go to the beach, so I'm thinking probably the Maldives, sunny and relaxing. But for other travelers, the perfect holiday is going to see, Paris and see all the museums in Paris, going for a city break. Or for other travelers, they like sports, they want to go hiking, they want to do different things. So we need to make sure that from a globalization perspective, from a localization perspective, we understand what our travelers want and what is our target audience. And having all these different brands, making sure that they are different on their tone of voice, on their identity, on their goals, their strategy. We need to make sure that we have a good understanding of what our travelers for these different brands are looking for. Which means that our products have also, the complexity of our products has also increased, because 10 years ago, we were doing translation of hotel descriptions, right? Which is very different from what we sell today. We sell cars, we sell flights, we sell cruises, we sell packages. We sell actually trains, which I haven't had the chance to including these, but means that the products that we localize have also changed. And as Eve and Tom were saying before, it's not only desktop anymore, it's mobile, right? It's making sure that we have a good product that is relevant in each culture, not only desktop, but also mobile. So we have over 600 million visits every month, right? And our brands are really strong in terms of, having very efficient loyalty programs as well. So we have 55 million people that are part of our loyalty programs. So it's making sure that all these different devices, it doesn't matter if it's desktop or if it's mobile, that we have content that is locally relevant. And as it's not only more, we're no longer talking only about tablets, we're talking about phones, we're talking about iWatches, right? So iPhones. So it's the complexity is increasing, because from a localization perspective, making sure that you have the content that is locally relevant on a phone is much more challenging than doing on desktop. Right, so we have to make sure that all the apps for all the different brands are also have relevant content. And as it has been mentioned before, technology keeps evolving, right? So our travelers, they want to search for anything. So we have our marketplace, we have our platforms, but they want to search in natural language, right? They want to talk to us. Right? So we have chatbots, and Expedia is really at the forefront of technology in trying to evolve how the traveler will experience booking a holiday, looking into virtual reality, for example, right? So travelers may want to experience part of their traveling before they actually book it. And how do we make sure that globalization, localization is ready for this? So the complexity of being truly global and having content that is really relevant has evolved with technology. And one of the challenges that I see in the next 5 to 10 years is really for us to make sure we have localization as part of product design, as part of the business discussions, to make sure that we're ready to evolve together with technology. For us, another complexity to being truly global is the fact that we're not only looking at the traveler as our consumer, but we also need to make sure we cater for our hoteliers, right? So our hotel partners. So even though we have 200 sites across 75 languages, 75 countries in 38 languages, the reality is that we actually support over 60 languages, because we localize all the communication with hotels, all the emails, all the tools that we use to communicate with hotels. whenever a hotel wants to join Expedia, they have to go to our Expedia Partner Center. We need to make sure that the tool is perfect and we're providing that perfect experience for our hoteliers. So it's not only from a globalization, localization perspective, looking at the partner side and the consumer side as well. So Expedia has invested a lot over the years and in the localization and content solutions team. So we have made a huge investment in 2012 to build our internal localization team. And this team has also evolved over the years. And our main goal is really to make sure that we're partnering with our brands. So we don't see ourselves as a service provider. Even though sometimes brands try to look at us as a service provider, we would like to think of ourselves as the partner of choice. So we want to partner with these brands, with the product teams to find the best solutions for them. And our goal is really to make sure that we provide culturally relevant content, that we provide content that is appealing, that is exciting for our travelers, right? So when a traveler thinks of booking a holiday, they think first of the destination, right? So for example, the Maldives. So we'll Google and I'll go, Maldives, and I want to find content that is going to inspire me to book a trip to the Maldives. So we want to make sure that we are providing content that is appealing to our travelers. And we have developed this centralized model, right? So all the brands that are part of the Expedia family work with our team. And we are a global organization. We have over 100 internal localization experts. I think we are over 20 countries, maybe Monica, keep me right, honest here, we're probably now over 22 countries. Over 22 countries where the localization team is based. And we have this hybrid model where we combine the internal expertise and knowledge of our linguists with the scalability, the capability and scalability technology of our partners. So we truly believe that partners like Visitech and other partners are an extension of our internal team. And as I said, the business evolved, right? So the company evolved, and we had to do the same because we started as a small team of 5 people, barely knowing what we were doing, providing translation services to a much broader organization that today we look at each one of these brands, we look at their needs, and we try to find what is the best solution for that. It could be content creation, we could be authoring content from scratch in local language, we could be using machine translation, we could be using, data structured content generation. So we try to basically look at each one of these brands, look at their needs, and try to find what is the right solution for them. At the end of the day, all we want is to focus on the traveler, right? We want to make sure we are able to provide that perfect holiday. And what is really reassuring is to see our new CEO talking about how we want to focus on quality, how we want to focus on our traveler, right? So our internal teams are looking into how we can build metrics internally that will reflect what our travelers want. Because when using localization, we talk about creating KPIs to measure quality from a linguistic perspective, but we're going much beyond that. We want to make sure that we incorporate what the traveler wants. What is bringing traffic, conversion? What is bringing more customer repeat? What is creating that great traveler experience to our quality metrics? So this is one of our main focus going forward from a content perspective. Because at the end of the day, all we want is happy travelers, right? So we're all travelers here, we all love travel, that's why we're here, and we want to make sure that we provide that perfect experience, no matter where it is, no matter the language it is, that we have at the end of the day a perfect holiday. Thank you.